Hello and welcome to Marketing with ConnectWise Campaign. My name is Renee Bergstresser and I'm an education consultant with ConnectWise Manage. I'm joined today.
Yeah, my name is Travis Ferlin and I'm the product manager for ConnectWise Campaign.
So on our agenda today, we're going to start off by looking at marketing campaigns within Manage. We'll get into managing our different groups and really how that relates to campaign and how you can best utilize that product. Then Travis will have a lovely ConnectWise Campaign demo. We'll go through tons of different features for web marketing, email and social media marketing, and some analytics that are available there. And then we'll have some time for tips and tricks at the end.
Sounds exciting.
So a question we're often asked is, well, where do I start with marketing? Especially for some of our partners, marketing may not be a focus. It's likely that service delivery is what you're most invested in at this time. Well, we'd say just go ahead and get started and start small. You'll see that later. So strategize, determine who you want to reach out to and how you think you can reach them. Then very important, next step being track. And this is really where ConnectWise comes into play, because within Manage, we really want that to be our source of truth. So we want to track every single effort we make for marketing, and that way we can report on it, see what's effective and what's not. Then we'll move on to actually marketing. And now this is where campaign is extremely valuable because it gives you tons of options, whether it's an email campaign or reaching out via social media, if that's something you haven't played with before. And then finally, reviewing the ROI. Now this is back within Manage. We want to check into everything that we've been working through and make sure that we're getting a good return on our initial investment, if that really is our goal of these marketing efforts. And then at the end, it's really just move right on back to strategize.
Yep.
Take all those different reports and see what worked and what didn't, and then develop your next effort.
Yeah, start small. Yeah, I know a lot of companies I talk to, they have a hard time getting started marketing, so just do anything you can to get started, like Renee was saying, and it will be a lot of help for you too. So.
Yeah, and that's what I really like about Campaign, because it takes some of the difficulty out of starting either a social media effort or an email effort. Makes it really easy to build something that looks beautiful and professional. You see some examples of that soon.
Oh, yes.
So the first question, how do you currently generate leads? We have this lovely little chart where we're showing some different methods. We have different paid searches, referrals, events, and direct mail. These are kind of our classic examples of marketing efforts. But what we'd say is, have you tried social media marketing?
Yeah.
Maybe social media is a foreign territory, but
everyone uses it nowadays. So, your customers are going to be on social media too. So that's why we brought that into ConnectWise Campaign to allow you to market to, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and kind of really reach out to those customers you might have not reached before through, your traditional lead generation process. Because that's the question we get a lot, is how do I generate new leads? And we usually say, hey, have you tried social media? And that usually works out for our partners.
It's like almost a more powerful and easier to track version of word of mouth, which you're likely already using now. And even just for building brand awareness, even if you don't necessarily have something you're trying to sell right now, it can make more people aware of your company.
Yeah, and when someone wants to do business with you, they're probably going to check you out on social media first, see how active you are. If your last post was from 2012, they might not. Yeah. So just keeping it updated in general, because nowadays, when they do a Google search for you, they'll most likely find your Facebook page or your LinkedIn, and they'll want to make sure you're active and engaged with their customers. So
Campaign, if you're not actively on Facebook, it's a really easy window into that world, and you can see all of your posts and manage them from within Campaign. So super handy. We'll talk a little bit now about group management. And group management is really valuable within Manage on its own, but there are some awesome additional features if you're using it with Campaign. So kind of starting out with the basics is, who are we reaching out to with our promotional material? Are these potential clients, new leads we're trying to generate, or are we trying to upsell existing clients? Now, how we really organize and maintain those different lists can be handled within Manage pretty easily right now. We actually, within the last 2 versions, we built out a brand new group screen, which gives you kind of a high-level overview of all of the different marketing groups that you have within Manage, or contact groups that you have within Manage, and allows you to update them en masse from here. So as you notice, some of our mass actions now within this group for client referral, we can mass add, mass unsubscribe, tons of different options to sort and remove or add people as needed.
And ConnectWise Manage is a great place to keep your current contacts that are already your existing clients, and also maybe qualified leads. But where ConnectWise Campaign comes into play is those unqualified leads that you haven't really went through yet. Those leads will stay strictly in ConnectWise Campaign until you've qualified them, and we'll go over that when we do the demo.
Absolutely. And then within Manage itself, don't limit yourself to just using that group screen. It's a really great area to mass manage your groups en masse. However, when you're building out these groups, you can use screens like the agreement screen, in this example, the configuration screen. Find those existing customers who are already using different configurations that you offer, different products, and market directly to them. And it can be really easy to create groups in this way. So I wouldn't limit yourself to just the group screen. And we will mention, as Travis alluded to, with Campaign, there's a lot of options for automating this. Now, we have tons of benefits to what we call our lead groups in Campaign. We call them groups within Manage. It's kind of difficult because we have our Manage groups and then we have lead groups.
Yes.
So that's our distinction between the ones that we create in Manage and the ones that we create within Campaign.
Yeah, so again, the ConnectWise Managed Groups, those are going to be for your customers that are already your clients, or maybe they're leads that you've already qualified that maybe you have a couple activities with or some opportunities with. But then those lead groups, again, those are for only seen in ConnectWise Campaign. Again, not to clutter up your current existing ConnectWise Managed database. You want to keep all that data clean. So by keeping them in Campaign only and then moving them over once they've been qualified, that really helps keep that database nice and clean.
Yeah, and if you're familiar with the groups within Manage, generally you'd be in a screen within ConnectWise Manage, and you would choose a particular group and send an email to them. Well, one awesome thing about Campaign is you can actually pick from multiple groups.
Yeah, and it could be a combination of managed groups and lead groups, so you don't have to just send to one or the other.
Awesome.
And coming over that.
Yeah, like you mentioned, keeping leads separate until qualified. It's an excellent way, especially if you're finding your lead groups in places and you're not 100% sure they're going to be a great fit for you, there's no reason to clog up your managed database with all this information.
Yeah, I talk to partners that have thousands of leads and this is driving me crazy in my managed database. This, again, takes them out of managed and puts them only in Campaign.
Absolutely. Kind of going along with that.
Yeah. And then lead scoring, what that is in ConnectWise Campaign, when you send out an email campaign, we can set up kind of qualifiers to help them be pushed into Manage. So we can do things like when the email's open, assign them a point value. When they click a link, when they fill out a form, all those things are going to assign point values. And then when that contact, or that lead, I should say, meets a certain threshold, then that contact is then created inside of ConnectWise Manage, because now you've qualified them through lead scoring. And you could, along with qualifying them and making them a contact, you can also create activities, service tickets, opportunities, all inside of ConnectWise Manage for your salespeople to follow up with.
Absolutely, and we'll touch on this a little bit later with some of our tips and tricks.
Yes.
But an excellent way of utilizing this feature is, say you have all these different leads, you don't necessarily want them in Manage, well, import them into Campaign. Now start marketing to them. As they interact with your emails, respond to your posts, etc., you can now start qualifying them and move them into Manage. Now with that move, if it's an activity, if it's an opportunity, if it's a ticket, you can now generate actions based off of this. Let your sales team know, complete other necessary tasks.
Definitely.
And then one of my favorite features actually within Campaign is the conditional follow-ups. So oftentimes you may be sending out emails and it's great to be able to see who's clicking into it, who's not even looking at it. But you can actually create a follow-up email based on how they interacted with the first email. Yeah,
so let's say you send an email out and you want to resend that, or send a follow-up email based on this contact opened it. So you sent it to 100 people, 25 people opened it. Well, let's send those 25 people that opened it an additional email, because obviously they're interested if they open the email. You could do it based on links clicked inside the email, send a follow-up email. Maybe they didn't open the email at all. Send those guys an email, say, hey, open my emails. No, but yeah, you can do those follow-up emails, and we'll show them that as well when we do the demo.
Yeah. So moving kind of back within something, specifically within Manage, our marketing campaigns. Now, our marketing campaigns really tie into that single source of truth, because with all the products, all the integrations that we are using, everything that we're doing manually and outside of Manage, we want everything to be tracked. So essentially, we create marketing campaigns within Manage to house all of the details of our marketing efforts.
And just before we get started really quick, the reason why this is so important and why it's in this ConnectWise Campaign webinar is because even your email campaigns in ConnectWise Campaign, those are built off campaigns that exist in Manage, and all that information is tracked back inside those campaigns. Just to kind of give you like context of why it's important in this webinar.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So what are we doing to market our products and services? That kind of gets back to our different referrals, our different marketing efforts. Maybe we're going to different events. Well, we actually categorize those efforts within Manage, and we build marketing campaigns so that we can split those up via reporting and see what's really most valuable for us after everything's said and done. And also, in the same way, report off the ROI of those different items. Now, the cool thing about using Campaign is that you're not necessarily going through and having to link all these items. If the marketing campaign is associated with your campaign efforts, then everything's going to be linked automatically.
Yep.
So you
your
can
opportunities, your activities, your tickets, all that's automatically linked. Because you talk to partners and they're like, oh, I went to this trade show. Well, did you make any money?
Yeah.
They don't know. But if you track it here, you track the costs, you track the opportunities from that trade show, then you know, was this a good investment or not?
Absolutely. So to kind of set the stage for us building this within Manage and then going through and using Campaign as well, we're going to start off with Nancy, our marketing manager. She has an Office 365 offering that she's really trying to push right now. And she wants to both upsell existing clients with an old Exchange server and bring on new customers needing Office 365.
Okay.
So she has a lot of goals here.
I like it.
Yeah, and we'll start off in our ConnectWise Manage marketing campaign. Like we kind of mentioned before, any marketing effort should be tracked. Every lead comes from somewhere. So we create a marketing campaign to kind of house all of the details. You'll notice here it's our blank slate. We're going to go ahead and fill out the name, and then we're going to categorize this. Now that type and subtype field just below are really valuable because that's what we're going to use in our reporting later on to see exactly how these efforts kind of shape up. Because we have a type of email and a subtype of managed services, we can see how our emails do against our, say, lunch and learns, against our trade shows. Then within emails, we can see which emails are most successful. We can look at how many opportunities they're generating. We can see how much ROI comes back from them. Really, any information that we want to gather, we can use these different fields in reporting to kind of narrow it down and see what's really worth it for us. And you may also notice at the top we have different opportunities tabs, activities tabs. Those will house all of the records associated with this effort. And it allows everything to kind of link together nicely. Now within the setup tab, so we were just on the marketing campaign tab where we kind of set all the basic settings. Now in the setup, we're going to get into that financial information. And you'll notice at the bottom we have that financial analysis pod. Well, within here, we're going to really set our goals right now. We're going to set the revenue that we hope to get from this effort. We're going to set how much we expect it's going to cost us. And then we have some other options as well. Now you notice that based on the revenue and cost that I want from this effort, I have a gross profit and ROI already projected. Now this is just my budget, this is what I'm going for, and you'll notice on the other side, the actual side, it's pretty blank right now, it looks pretty rough. Well, this is because the actual side of the revenue, I can't fill in manually. That's actually going to flow from won opportunities associated with this campaign. So that field will be filled out for me as I start winning these opportunities. Now, the cost field below, that's also open, but you'll notice I haven't filled it out yet. Because I haven't completed this marketing effort, I don't know how much it's actually going to cost me. Now, this field can be really valuable later on if we're trying to review our marketing budget and see if maybe we're allocating more than we need or not quite enough to cover the costs of these efforts. So, back with Nancy. Her concern now, she knows who she's trying to reach out to, she knows what she's trying to provide for them, and she's created this marketing campaign so that at the end of the day, she'll know exactly how successful she was. What she's concerned with is marketing noise, because she never knows who she should be following up with. She feels like she's just bombarding all of her leads with emails, and then her sales team still doesn't have anything valid to work on.
Understandable.
So not a good situation for Nancy to be in. So now we're getting into ConnectWise Campaign.
Yeah, so I think ConnectWise Campaign can really help Nancy in this situation because we really do help simplify that email and social media marketing. We have pre-built templates in there for emails. We track the analytics, and it helps you. So in Manage, when you are creating an email campaign, you have to be there when you want to send it. So you can't send something Monday at 2 and Friday at 3. You have to be at your computer when you want to send it. With Campaign, you can go in a week, a month, however much in advance, and schedule out those emails, and then you'll have and social media posts, and you'll have a calendar view of when all your marketing efforts are going out, and you can kind of line up your email marketing efforts with your social media marketing, so you're on the same page with those leads that you're getting your emails or checking your social media, and you're all talking about the same thing.
And it's really nice to be able to look at one calendar view. If you've been working in Manage for a while, you're probably very comfortable and familiar with the ConnectWise calendar. Oh, yeah. Well, now you have one for just your marketing blasts going out. So Nancy can spot really easily from that view, these are all of my emails, these are all my social media posts. Make sure it's not too overwhelming and make sure they're spaced out well. And like you said, just being able to schedule them in advance. So you don't have to remember at 2 p.m. on Friday, oh, I have to send out that email. It's just going to reach that time on the slot and send out for you. You have it all set up.
You can see from the calendar view the status of that. Is it processing? Has it sent? Was there an issue with it? So all that's available at a quick glance. Also simplifying design and marketing materials. So as I mentioned, there's email templates pre-built in there for you. So we had our internal marketing team build out templates. We've gotten templates from vendors like Microsoft and Veeam. Those templates are all inside of Campaign for you. And all you need to do is do a little bit tweaking. If you're not a marketing expert, which I know a lot of our partners aren't, and that's okay. And we'll show you how to do this easily. Go in, update your header image, put the text fields you want in, and add your logo and send it out. So make that pretty easy for you. We have the editor in there for you also, so you don't need to know HTML code. You can go in and stylize it the way you need to.
It'll look way more professional. And it really, with that WYSIWYG feature, it's so much easier to see what it's going to look like at the end of the day.
Yep. Automating the creation of action items and manage. So this comes back to lead scoring. So whether it's from an email, you have lead scoring set up, so when they click on a link in your email, it automatically creates that activity for your salesperson to follow up. Or maybe you're using the form builder, which we haven't really talked much about yet, but having the form builder go through and someone submits a form on your landing page, and that can in turn add that contact to a group so they receive future communication from you. It can also create an activity or other follow-up items. We can send them an email on form submission, so maybe you have an ebook you want to solicit. Say, hey, fill out my form, and we'll send you an ebook. And then we can send them an email after that with that ebook included.
Awesome.
Distinguishing between hot and cold leads. Again, this is going back to lead scoring and be able to assign point values to those contacts. And then also when you're looking at the contact screen, we have individual contact reporting. So you can go in and open up a specific lead that you have in your system and say, hey, this contact has opened up all of my Office 365 emails, but none of my emails about Microsoft Azure or another service you're trying to market. Now we know, hey, get our sales team to focus on Office 365 for this lead. And then analyzing lead interactions to continue improving. So we do have a dashboard as well in ConnectWise Campaign and some other reporting available for you. So if you want to do things like A/B testing or just see kind of what email subject lines are working for you to get more clicks, all that's available for you on the dashboard, so you can see what's getting you the most open rate, what's getting you the most clicks and form submissions, and we'll show you that also.
And it's really nice in Campaign because not only, we did mention the conditional follow-up options. So in this example, like you said, if someone's not clicking into the email, maybe try a totally different summary line and see how they respond to that. If certain contacts are just completely non-responsive, maybe remove them from your list. They're not valuable to you and they could be affecting your sender score.
Yeah, it's affecting your sender score, they're affecting your analytics. So if you have a list of 1,000 contacts and only 200 of them are actively engaged with you, maybe relook at those other 800 contacts and remove them, and that's going to improve all your metrics all around. So.
Absolutely. So now for the exciting part, we're going to get into our working demo of ConnectWise Campaign. So just to show you some of these features that we've been talking about.
Okay, so we're going to start off inside of ConnectWise Campaign. So this is what it looks like. This is what you'll see when you first log in if you haven't set any campaigns yet. It's going to look something like this. You'll be taken to your calendar screen. And first and foremost, you need to have contacts and leads in your system to start marketing. So we're going to go to the Contacts tab, and you can see here we have lead groups, ConnectWise Managed groups, additional follow-up groups. So these are different groups that you have available for you in your system. And for most of our partners, they already have groups in ConnectWise Managed. So I want to show you what that looks like. In this example, I already have some created here for you that have been imported from Manage. But if maybe you're new to ConnectWise Campaign and you want to import groups, you go to this Update Groups from ConnectWise section, and you can see all your groups exist here. You can pick and choose what groups you want to send over, so maybe you have some outdated groups you don't want in Campaign. You can leave those out, or you can update all active groups or just all groups in general. We have a few different options here. In this case, I want to bring over this Office 365 push. All I do is hit click Update. And now in the background, that's going to work and bring over the group, going to bring over all the contacts with it. So when I want to do an email campaign to that group, it's going to be available for me to select and choose.
And this is really nice because it means that the maintenance you're putting on your groups within Manage is not wasted. You can still use all of the same features within Manage, build them out from agreements and configurations, and then just go ahead and update those groups in Campaign actively.
Yep, so this is our group. It's synced over, so if you click in it, you can see all the contacts that were in that group and go in and make any changes if you need to. And now we mentioned earlier about lead groups. So these are your lead groups. These are, again, groups that are going to contain contacts that are not yet qualified. So you went to a trade show, you got a list of contacts, or you're doing your social media marketing and you have got new leads from there. You're going to come in here and import them. So what you can do is create a new group, and we can call this 2017, it's 2018 now, trade show. Go ahead and save it. And then after it's saved, you can come in here and use this import contacts, and you're going to have an Excel spreadsheet. It's going to import that Excel spreadsheet and all the contacts on it into this group. If you need an example spreadsheet, you can hit this download sample spreadsheet option, and that's going to give you something to start working on. It's going to have your basic first name, last name, email address, company columns. And in order to import those contacts, all you need for this is a first name, a company, and an email address. So a lot less fields that you need to import to manage, just to kind of get them in here and get you started, and you could add on to it later.
So it really is just like a company and contact import, except it's for all those marketing details that you're really not so sure of yet.
Exactly. Another way to add contacts to a group would be through a form. So we're going to move over and I'm going to show you the form builder. So what the form builder allows you to do is gather information and by putting a form on your landing page or on your website, and then you want to link to that form from your social media posts, from your email campaigns, and we'll show you how to do all of that here. So I went over the Campaign Builder tab, and this includes things like the form builder. You can manage your email templates. We have a media gallery here for you, and also your landing pages. We're going to start in this form builder. And for anyone that's maybe used Campaign before, this is a new update to this. So we have some new features here that we're going to show off as well. So we're going to add in our form name. So this is going to be for our Office 365 campaign we're running to get an ebook. So we'll go ahead and put that form name here. And then we want to link it back to our ConnectWise Managed campaigns. Again, ConnectWise Managed is our source of truth. When someone fills out this form, they will be added to that form submitted section inside of the Campaign Builder. Inside of ConnectWise Managed campaigns. And also, if your form creates an activity or an opportunity or a service ticket, that campaign is now going to be automatically linked to those. So when you win that opportunity, as Renee showed you earlier, your revenue will increase there automatically with no interaction from you. So I have my Office 365 Stage 1 here. I'm going to click that, and that'll be my campaign I use. So now I could drag and drop any fields I want over. So one thing I know I need is their phone number. So when I get this, when I want to pass this off to my sales team, I want them to have a phone number. So I drag and drop a text box over. And then by clicking it, it brings up this text input field here where I have my ConnectWise Manage option. So I want to get the contact's phone number. So I'm going to map it to the contact screen. And then my option here will be phone. So then I can come here and update my label to phone number. And then my hint text as well. And you can see as I'm typing in, it's automatically updating in that form preview field. And again, I really want my sales team to have this, so I can go ahead and mark this field as required. So now this form can't be submitted unless they give us a phone number. So I'm going to save that. And something else that's new is the ability to map to custom fields. So in ConnectWise Manage, I know I have a custom field called How Did You Hear About Us? And I want to know, how are they hearing us? Is it from social media? Is it from word of mouth? Was it a referral? So I can come in here, and under my contacts option again, I have this custom field called Hear About Us. This includes all the options I'm already creating ConnectWise Manage under the custom field setup table. They're here automatically for you. This way there's no mismatching of fields when we try to sync that over. And then we update this label to How Did You Hear About Us? I already talked that once, so let's click that. And last but not least, I want them to subscribe to my email campaign. So in ConnectWise Manage, there's a field on the Profile tab called Don't Send Emails. We're mapping to that field with this checkbox. So I'm going to click this. Again, I have it under my my contact screen, and I'm going to select the subscribe option. Again, this maps to that Don't Send Email box under the Profile tab, and we'll show you that in a minute. And how it works is if they select subscribe, that box remains unchecked. If they don't select it, subscribe here, that box becomes checked because they didn't subscribe to your email, so they don't want your marketing emails. So we want to be clear what this is for. So we're going to have them subscribe to our weekly newsletter. We want them to know that we're going to email them weekly. If we don't tell them that, they might not realize we're going to email them that much and then start marking our emails as spam when they come in. And we definitely don't want that.
And the really cool thing about this is because you're building this form out piece by piece, of course you want to keep it relatively concise, but you can put in really any information that you need to know.
Yeah.
I believe you mentioned to me before something about adding in a custom field for company size, or really just anything else that we don't always handle within Manage, but you might want to know. Yeah,
so the great thing with this update about adding custom fields in is with these custom fields, now these are searchable in ConnectWise Manage. So if I want to do a search in Manage for all the companies that heard of us through social media, I can do that search. Where before all of this was just going into a notes field and you have to go in and find it. So really any kind of marketing information that you want to know and have at the ready, create a custom field for it, put it on the company or contact screen, and then when you do this, create your form, it's going to map back to that field for you.
Awesome.
So now we're going to move on to step 2, which is configure. So we're going to hit continue. And you can see we have a lot of options here for what do we want to happen once this form is submitted. So I'm going to go through some of these. So add contact to group. This is really important. This is how we're going to follow up with them again in the future. If you don't select this box, our sales guy will follow up with him, hopefully. Yeah. But they're not going to receive any of our marketing material. So we're going to come in here and give them our Office 365 group. Also our newsletter, and now next time I send an email and after this contact submitted the form, they're going to get the newsletter, they're going to get the next Office 365 email because they've signed up here. Now I also want to send them an ebook once this has been submitted. So for this option, you have to have your email template already created, and if you're going through and creating your form before you have it created, that's fine, just come back and add it later. But I already have mine built, so I'm going to come in here and choose one of my vendor templates and select it, and now when the contact fills out this form, they're going to get this email. So I'm going to say first name, oops, here's your free ebook. Who is it coming from? This is all being pulled from the admin screen of ConnectWise Campaign. And then if you want to add some type of delivery, you can say it's going to go to them in X amount of minutes, send it to them in a few hours, seconds maybe. In this case, we're going to leave that blank. And then we can also redirect them to a web page. So they fill out this form. Maybe I want to send them to my Contact Us or About Us page. We could do that here as well. And then last but not least, we can create these follow-up action items in ConnectWise Manage. I always go for an activity. I know the sales team should be looking at their activities daily. So this will add it to their activity list. So we're going to say Office 365 form submission. We want this to be the type of call. We want our sales team to call them when they receive this. We want them to do it within 5 days of when they've gotten this activity assigned to them. And we're going to make this a medium priority item. And then all my Office 365, they go to Earl Banning. So I'm going to select him, and now he will be the owner of all these activities. And then again, we have the same options available with opportunities and tickets, and you can do a combination of them. So if you don't just want an activity, you can do a service ticket and or an opportunity as well.
Awesome.
So moving on to the last step, we're going to get a preview of what our form looks like. So we want to make sure, hey, this looks right. If not, we can go back to this build step and add or remove anything needed, fix any spelling mistakes, things like that. Then we have two options on this side. We can either embed the form to an existing website. So maybe you already have a website built and you don't want to use a landing page in ConnectWise Campaign. What you can do is just take this code right here, copy and paste it onto your website, just wherever you have a space for form on your website. And then this form will still work as normal on your website. In our example, we have a landing page already kind of prepped for this. So what we're going to do is add it to a landing page. So we're going to click this campaign landing page option. And all that's doing is bringing us this landing page screen right here with a list view of all my landing pages I already created. So again, I pre-built this one. So I'm going to click into this one I have created, switch into edit mode. And then this space right here is where I've designated to put the form. So I'm going to hit insert form, select this form I just created. And now this form exists right here. If I need to, I can extend this or make any changes needed. But when I save this landing page, I already have a tab with it open. Notice here it's not here. When I refresh the page, now my form is here. I can fill it out. So we're going to use Tom's as an example. That's our company name. And Tom owns this company, so that's his first name. The email is tom@toms.com. And then the phone number, we can really enter anything we want. So we're going to make up a phone number here. And then how did you hear about us? Well, we heard from you from social media. Maybe we saw your social media post, so we're going to select that. And then we do want to subscribe to the weekly newsletter. So we have that selected, and we're going to hit submit now. And now this is a CAPTCHA field. It's an automatic CAPTCHA. It's actually was created by Google. And what you're doing here is just selecting the storefronts in this example. Hopefully I picked them correctly. But it only flags this when something suspicious is happening. So when I fill this form out, for some reason it thought it was suspicious. After I fill out that CAPTCHA field, it said, okay, you're good. And this is similar to the CAPTCHA that you do out where it's like random letters and numbers that are hard to read.
Yeah.
It's just an easier way to do it because it's an invisible one. So once we hit OK here, what's going to happen now is inside ConnectWise Manage, that company Tom's will be created along with Tom being created as a contact. It's going to have his first name, email, phone number, the custom field of how did you hear about us filled out, along with that do not send email checkbox. That's not going to be checked because we had subscribe checked here. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, and along with that, he's going to get an email from us. He's going to be added to those groups, and that activity should be created as well. So now we'll move into our ConnectWise database. I can come in here and search for Tom's. That's a company we just created. And we can see they create as a company inside of ConnectWise Manage. And now if we go to the Contacts tab, this is where the actual contact created. So if we click into him or clicking into Tom, we can see his email was synced, his phone number was synced, the Hear About Us, all this was automatically synced over. And if we go to the groups, the groups are synced over. I was talking about earlier the Profile tab. This Don't Send Email. Notice that's not checked because we did check that subscribe box, so they are subscribed to these emails. And then last but not least, that activity was created. So again, we click into here and we can see the activity created. All the settings we had are synced over along with this campaign field. Again, that's important because if we create an opportunity or anything else off this activity, that will be tracked inside of the campaign inside of ConnectWise Manage.
Awesome. And we'll actually, once the demo is done, we'll be able to see that campaign and all the details that we've gathered from here listed there.
Exactly. So we're going to swing back over to ConnectWise Campaign. And we're going to go to our ConnectWise Calendar tab because now what we're going to do is create an email and a social media campaign and show you how easy it is to do that using our pre-built templates and how we can link that landing page we just created to these. So what we'll do is we're on our calendar screen and we can kind of just come in here and say, I'm going to send this email out, Friday at 3:30, I think that is. So I have the option to choose email or social media. We'll do email first. And you notice we have a couple generic templates. These are very basic. These are more for if you have a little bit of experience with HTML and WYSIWYG. If you're new, you don't know a lot about HTML or anything, you want to use either these pre-built templates. These are going to be a lot easier for you to set up, or these vendor templates. Again, these are provided to us by vendors to kind of promote their services. So I go to pre-built templates. My favorite one to use is a standard email template, so I'm going to use that one. So I select it, and you can kind of see it's already structured, basically how an email should look. All I have to do is go into this edit template mode, and I want to change my header image. So I come in here, right-click the image. I already have some images in my image library. If I didn't, I could upload new ones. I want to use this image I have right here. It's an Office 365 banner. So I select that, choose the fit to width option, and what that will do is it's going to keep all your proportions in check and also fit it exactly to the cell width. So I select OK here, and that puts this image in. And I'm also going to add my logo. So same thing, click it, right-click it, hit image, and then find where my logo is. So we'll use this as our company logo. And this time I don't want to fit to width because I don't want the image to take up that whole cell block. I just want it in the top left-hand corner. So I'm going to leave that unchecked and click OK. And then I can come in here and easily update any of this text I want. So again, this email is to receive a Office 365 ebook. So we can say first name. That's going to pull the first name from that contact. Get your free Office 365 ebook.
Nice.
Then you can come in here and you would be able to kind of highlight any of this text, update how you see fit. But the important part, again, is linking to our landing page or your website. So we're going to use this button down here as our link where it says Learn More. So we're going to right-click this and hit Link. We have two options here. We can either put in our own URL, so mycompany.com, and direct them to your company page. Because again, you could put that form directly on your website. But in our example, I want to link to a landing page that we created in Campaign. So I'm going to select this landing page dropdown and choose the landing page we created, which was the CSP landing page template, and click OK. So now when someone clicks on this button, it will link them to that landing page from the email. And a question we get a lot is, or we hear a lot, especially from support, is I want to put my form directly in my email. Unfortunately, you can't do that. That's a limitation of email providers, not of ConnectWise Campaign. So you do want to link them to that external website to do that. So then what we do is hit Schedule here. And here we can take this email, and we're either going to create a new campaign and manage, or we're going to use an existing campaign. So Renee has already set up our campaign with the ROI information, the cost, the revenue, all that good stuff. So we're going to choose an existing one. So from this drop down, we're going to find our Office 365 email example. Notice it automatically fills out our type and subtype. Those are pulled from manage. What we do need to fill out is an email name, and that's because multiple emails can be associated with this one campaign. So if I want to send out 2 or 3 emails and have it all tracked under this campaign, I can do that by having unique names here. So we're going to call this one ebook, just ebook. We'll say Office 365. So in the subject line, again, you can include personalization if you want, first name, last name, or company name. So first name, learn to communicate and connect with Office 365. You can do whatever you'd like there. Then we're going to choose who it's going to. So again, we have our Office 365 group already in here. And again, if we wanted to, we could do a mixture of lead groups and managed groups just by selecting the other ones as well.
Like Nancy mentioned before in our business case, she's looking to upsell her existing clients and sell to brand new prospects. So she may have lead groups that are not in manage and people existing in manage that she wants to send this to.
And then the from address, again, this is pulling from our admin screen of ConnectWise Campaign. So I'm going to select my from address. And then again, we're going to choose what day and time we want to be sent out at. I already chose on my calendar Friday at 3:30, so that's automatically here for us. Then we're going to hit schedule. And this is going to prompt us and ask us, do we want any lead scoring on this campaign, which we've talked about quite a bit already. But again, we're assigning point values. So if they open the email, I'm going to give 1 point. If I'm going to click a link in the email, they're going to get 4 points. And if they submit a form that's associated with this campaign, they're going to get 5 points. So what's important here, we have to do a little bit math. I made this equal 10, so math is easy. So basically, if they open the email, it's 10%. If they click a link, 1 plus 4, that's 5, so that's 50%. And if they do everything, that's 100%. That's important on this next step when we click on this ConnectWise tab. So it's going to automatically create the record when you reach X% of the score. So we're going to say when they click a link and they open the email, so 50%. So we're going to choose that option. And again, we're going to say create an activity. So it automatically is going to fill out the summary, the status, the type, and I can change any of these I want to. And then hit next. And that's going to go ahead and schedule this campaign with all of that lead scoring intact.
Awesome.
And you can see on your calendar here, it's scheduled for Friday. So now to coincide with that, we want to do some social media campaigns. So we're going to do those before that email goes out around 1 o'clock. Again, we just click on the calendar and choose social. And here is our Office 365 ebook. We're just naming what this post will be called on our calendar. And then we choose what platforms we want to post to. So again, we have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can do your personal account, your company account, anything you want, just select that here. And then we're going to say, learn how to better communicate and collaborate using Office 365. And what you're going to want to do here is get this link from your landing page, copy it, and then paste it here. And what we do here is we automatically shorten it. So we put the link in, you hit space, and now that link is auto-shortened for you.
Nice.
And then we can either do different posts for all your platforms, which is actually a best practice, is to have each platform have a different message. But in this example, to save time, we're just going to hit this duplicate post, and that puts that post in all the platforms.
Very cool.
We can also put any videos or images we want in these. So I'm going to use this one, which is our Office 365 image. So that's going to be posted along with this message to Facebook.
Cool.
And if you want, you could stagger the time. So if I want this one to go out at 1:15, this one to go out 1:30, all that's done here. And then when we hit schedule, this will now post at those specified times on our calendar. So you can see those are all right here. Another last bit of interesting information, you can kind of drag and drop these. So let's say I decide, hey, I want to schedule this a little bit earlier. I can drag and drop these around however I see fit.
Very cool.
Which is kind of helpful for our marketers out there. So now we're going to switch over to a database that already has some information pre-populated in there, so you can see kind of what the analytics look like of these. So this is, again, a more realistic database. You have your social media, your emails already scheduled to go out here. So we'll start with emails. So I know I sent one out last month. I want to see how it did. I can kind of click into it. And what this will do is going to give me the analytics of the email. So I sent this to 13 people, which you could see down here. Who opened it? I click into this Open tab. I can see now who opened it. Links clicked, same thing. And you can actually see what links they clicked from here too. So if you want to see, do they click on that learn more link? Do they click on the unsubscribe link? You kind of see what they clicked on here. And then we also have this unsubscribe option here, so you're seeing who's unsubscribing from your emails. And then what we talked about earlier with creating a follow-up email, that can be done here as well with this create follow-up email option. So we're not going to go in and create a whole new email just for time's sake, but I will show you selecting a template and then what that looks like, the conditions field. So notice that these automatically got pre-populated with the campaign I used and the follow-up email name. So I'm going to say this is stage 2. I can change the subject line, but this is really where it's important, is the to field, where you can set these conditions. So do we want this to only go to someone that clicked the link, opened the email, submitted a form, left the email unopened, or even unconditional, so just resend it to everybody. So in this case, we're going to say when they click a link, we're going to send this email to them. And just remember, this doesn't have to be the same email. You can come in here and do whatever you want, make it more customized to your audience, because now you know, well, these people are interested in Office 365. So you can further customize there as well. And now we're going to look at the social media post. So I'm going to move back to this month, and this Office 365 social promotion I sent out last week. I can come in here and say, okay, I had a couple reactions, some people are excited. Someone said this was a great read. Oh, that was me. I said that. But in reality, this would be a lead. So you could say, glad you enjoyed it, and maybe follow up with them further from there. Once you hit reply, that's going to automatically post over to your social media account, and you can kind of see any replies down here as well. So you can see someone replied to our comment. But you can do this for Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. They're all going to have very similar analytics. So you can come here and follow up with those, and also see them from a dashboard view. So if you don't want to click into each individual social media post, go ahead and go to the dashboard, and you can see a list graphs there on how that looks, and we'll look at that a little bit later.
Yeah, this is another really important tip when you're starting to reach out on social media, because like Travis said, a lot of people will learn about you nowadays from your social media posts. And if they see a bunch of comments that haven't been answered to, maybe some negative posts or some old posts that haven't been followed up on, that doesn't give a great impression of your brand. Now, it can be really difficult, especially if you're newer to marketing, to maintain all of these different sites, but you can do that all from within Campaign. So it really simplifies it.
Exactly. So, what else do you have left, Renee?
I think that's
it.
All we want to show for the demo, yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do now is go back to the PowerPoint and kind of pick up where we left off.
Awesome. So now we are back in ConnectWise Manage and looking at that marketing campaign screen. We've done a lot of work. You'll see at the top there we have 11 opportunities that have been generated. Now that's someone who saw the post on social media, received the email, or just went to your landing page and clicked that link and filled out the details. Let's say we had all those create opportunities. Well, now we have 11 opportunities up for grabs, and they're all automatically associated because of the associations we made in Campaign.
Exactly.
We also have the group members that have been added. We have those activities generated, and you'll notice that emails opened on the far right is listing how many emails have been opened, because all those analytics are being tracked in Campaign, so it just feeds right back into Manage. So now scrolling down a little bit on this actual marketing campaign, we now see at the bottom some of those fields have started to populate. We have an ROI, we have emails opened, forms submitted, and links clicked, all flowing through here because we're tracking this in Campaign. Now that you're on the back end and you're trying to figure out which of these efforts are really valuable, what you should focus your energy and time on for, say, next quarter or your next marketing budget effort, I would recommend, for the Manage side of it, check out the report frequency matrix. This is one of our areas in our documentation that I find most valuable. You can select your specific role. So in this case, we're focusing on a marketing manager, and it'll give you a great idea of the types of reports you should be running and our recommended frequency. So as a marketing manager, what you'd be looking at on a daily basis, maybe semi-annually, monthly. We have these all listed out here with links to details on those reports.
Yeah, and the great thing about these reports are, because ConnectWise Campaign is so deeply integrated with ConnectWise Manage, when you have these trackings and ROI reports, all that is being pulled in from Campaign as well.
Absolutely.
So you have one place to go and look for your reporting too.
For sure. And then within ConnectWise Campaign, we didn't get into all of the different areas. We looked at some of the dashboards and some of the analytics for social media, but for all of your different email campaigns, you can compare them all within Campaign itself. So here we have 3 different campaigns, 3 different email campaigns, I believe, that we've been sending out. And we can see, well, which ones had the most clicked, which ones had the most forms submitted. They're all compared together. So if you are more of a visual person, this is all already built into Campaign.
Yep.
So you can use both types of reports to really hone down your, or really focus your marketing efforts.
Definitely.
So now on to our tips and
this is my favorite.
tricks. Everyone's favorite section.
Yeah. So inside of Campaign, when we were looking at the email builder, one option we have, and we're really big on, is spam scoring. So you want to make sure that your emails are going to someone's inbox and not their spam folder, because I don't know anyone that goes and looks in their spam folder and says, I want to open this. So we built in spam scoring to ConnectWise Campaign, and what this allows you to do is, once you're done building out your email, before you send it, inside of this actions dropdown, if you can see my mouse that I'm hovering over, there's an option there called spam score. Clicking that is going to bring up this little chart here, and it's going to rate your email and how likely it is to be marked as spam when it gets sent to someone. So you see this one's a 1.2, a very low risk for being marked as spam. It gives you a breakdown of why this might be marked as spam. So you can kind of go in your email from there and fix those options. Because again, no one's going to open an email in their spam folder. I know I never do. So you want to make sure you're going to the inbox, which is really important. And
it's excellent that when you check this spam score, it will give you tips for essentially fixing the message so that it won't be flagged. I know for one, there's certain items, if it's in all caps or something like that, you may think it's a really fun and funny way to send an email, but if it's going to send it straight to spam, maybe rethink it.
The subject line is very big. You know, spam words in the subject line, like free, things like that. Those are going to be marked as spam, most likely.
Absolutely. Another handy feature within Campaign, we were building out those landing pages. We're talking about how easy it is to not only build them, but also see what you're building as you build it. Well, it's even easier to know how it's going to be received.
Exactly.
Because not only, I know within Manage, we always recommend sending a test yourself whenever you're sending an email, especially out in mass. Well, you can do the same thing here. You can preview those emails. However, nowadays most people open emails on their mobile device. Maybe they're not tied down to their desk, maybe they're out and about. Well, now you can actually preview what it's going to look like on a mobile device as well.
I was going to say, just to add on to that, the great thing about this is, you know, you can send test emails like you can in Manage, like Renee mentioned. But if you want to test it in Outlook and you want to test it in Gmail and AOL and Outlook.com, well, yeah, you can test them on all those, but now you have to test them again on your mobile device. So this is going to save you time as well.
Absolutely. And so this is just a screen of really all of the options. These are all the different previews you can generate. Now we have some examples here. We have our email, and now we're looking at it, hey, how does this look on an Android? So now we'll see how our Android customers will see it. How does it look on an iPhone? We can pick out any issues that might affect our customers and make them less likely to review our email and take us seriously.
And it makes you more confident when you actually hit send and send out the email. You're not like, I hope that iPhone user looks right on their phone. No, you know, because you tested it out through this tool. And this, because this is actually what it looks like. So what it does is it sends off an email to an iPhone, takes a screenshot of what that email looks like in the inbox, and sends it back to us and shows you what that looks like. So you know, you can be confident that's going to be, look how it looks here.
Awesome. And then kind of getting into some more of the Manage features that really help out with these efforts that you're automating in Campaign. Workflow rules, one of our greatest sources of automation within Manage. We have tons of different ways to really make your life easier as you start moving through these marketing efforts. One of which being applying a track. If you have certain tracks for either marketing to new clients, new leads, or maybe even onboarding someone with a new product, you can initiate those tracks with a workflow rule. So why not have a workflow rule set to monitor these items being created by Campaign and automatically apply the track? It's just one less step for you to have to moderate. We also have options for automating follow-up reminders. So maybe you have those activities being generated, those opportunities being generated, but you want your account manager to kind of take a second look at that and make sure everything is going well. Well, in that case, look for those specific activities and opportunities and have the account manager emailed on them if maybe too much time has passed before they've been addressed. Yeah, so what I recommend is creating statuses inside of ConnectWise Manage that say, hey, this came from ConnectWise Campaign. So when we run workflow rules, we can say, hey, this isn't a status that was created off of ConnectWise Campaign, and we can run specific workflow rules based on that. Awesome. And this is just an example of one of the emails that you can generate to send out to them with really any details they need. And also assigning resources. If you have certain items coming in as service tickets, it's really important to have someone assigned to work them. And if we have those statuses, we know which tickets are coming in from Campaign, maybe there's a specific member qualified to really handle those based on the marketing effort. That way we can have them assigned right away and they can handle it. Great. Awesome. So on for a little recap. If you're super excited about all these features and starting to track them,
Yes.
there's a free 30-day trial.
Yeah, so ConnectWise Campaign is an add-on to ConnectWise Manage. We do offer a free 30-day trial, so if you want to just try it out before you buy it, that's great. What you would do is inside of ConnectWise Manage, you go to the marketing module and select ConnectWise Campaign. Just as a note, if you're below 2018.3 in ConnectWise Manage, it's going to just be called Campaign. Just so you know, if you're looking for it and you can't find it, that's what it's called. And you can start a free 30-day trial directly in app. No need to contact your account manager. However, if you previously trialed it and we added a bunch of new cool features, you're like, hey, I want to try it again, that's when you want to go ahead and contact your account manager and let them know that you want to retrial ConnectWise Campaign, and they can get that set up for you. Or if you have any questions about it in general, we can contact them as well. But for now, actually.
So some of our key takeaways: try out building awareness and generating new leads with social media. If it's not something you've played with before, if you're kind of getting in a rut trying to find new leads, it might be a great way to start reaching out to new clients. Use Manage as your source of truth, especially for costing.
Yes.
Now that's one thing we won't be tracking within Campaign. That's really for our more advanced marketing efforts. However, within Manage, you put the actual cost of everything that you've been, of all of your efforts, and that way when that revenue from the opportunity starts flowing in, you can really see how beneficial this is for you. And then review those analytics to continually improve. We showed that chart in the very beginning where you're strategizing, you're tracking, you're sending out your marketing efforts, and then you're deciding what to do. Oh, you're tracking your ROI, reviewing your ROI.
Yep.
That whole process is continual. So as you go through, keep running those reports on a weekly, quarterly basis, and keep evaluating your efforts to see what's most valuable for your company. And now, a question that I'm often asked, and I usually don't have any way to answer, is how do you find good customers? How do you really find these leads, narrow it down so that your technician's time and effort isn't wasted? Well, we actually have a brand new webinar series, or not brand new, it's been going on for a couple months, Path to Success, where we brought in some experts to do just that. In this webinar, finding good customers who are eager to do business with you might really help you out if you are interested in learning more about marketing in general. So we'll go ahead and start off and hand it off to Travis, who's super excited about some new features for you.
Yeah, so before we actually get into the Q&A, I just want to call out a new feature that we released yesterday, actually. It's contact tagging. What this is going to allow you to do is segment your groups you already have in Campaign. So we hear all the time, it's hard to manage groups. How can we make it easier to manage groups? So what we've done is, in addition to groups, we've added contact tags. So as you can see in the screenshot here, we can make tags for anything we'd like. So whether it be Office 365, physical security, audio-visual, how many employees they have, what their title is, we can have a tag for that. And then when you send out an email, you can say, I want to only send it to this tag and this tag, or I want to send it to this group and then only the CEOs or decision makers in that group. So there's a lot of different options you could do with tags. So I'm going to do a brief demo. One example we have in here is just make all your solution offerings that you have to clients tags, and that's a good way to get started with them.
Yeah, we're hearing so much about the solutions menu from our upper level management, and if you're watching any of our Path to Success webinars, we talk about that all the time. Well, this is just another way that you can really start using those guidelines to market more effectively to your clients.
Yes. So right now we are in ConnectWise Campaign. If we click into one of our groups, we're getting a list of all of our leads. So I just want to show you what that looks like. So let's say we click into Julio. We can see this is actually an update also. This is a new contact screen we have available showing you the overview of all the campaigns you sent, how many they've opened, click links in, submitted forms in. Then we're showing, okay, they're in these groups, but then they also have these tags here. And I'll show you the tag management in a moment. But if I want to add tags to Julio, maybe he's the CEO, I can start typing in CEO, and you can see it auto-fills, and I can enter in that CEO tag. We can also create new tags from the screen. So let's say he's interested in Cisco products. I can type in Cisco. That's not yet a tag. I hit enter, and now he has that Cisco tag.
Awesome.
Along with that, we've added some new fields in. So the department field, the address field, that was a big enhancement request, was having the address in here, along with their social links. And then for GDPR compliance, and it's just good information to have, we also added in the subscribe date. So we're knowing what date did this lead subscribe to our emails. And then below this, we also have the campaign history. So all the campaigns you've ever sent, along with did they open them, did they click links, did they submit a form associated with them. So that's now all available here. So if you scroll through this list and notice, hey, they're opening all my Azure emails, maybe they're interested in Azure, maybe you could pass this off as a lead to our sales team.
Or maybe add that as a tag.
Yes, that's a great point. Last thing I'll say is we've added this inline editing. So you hit this edit button, and now we can come in here and change the company. All these fields you see, these are going to be editable. So maybe he changes department. We can change him over to IT, save that, and now we have this saved in our system. This is the tag management, so you can see all of our tags exist here. We can click into a tag and see a list of all of the leads in our system that have that tag, and then do mass removal if we need to, or anything from this screen. Jumping back to lead groups, just want to point out really quick, we also mass apply tags. So let's say we know everyone in this group. We want to give the tag of 1 through 10 employees, hit enter, and now all those have that 1 through 10 employees tag. And then just to show you how these are actually used when you send out an email, if I come back to the calendar screen, click in to create a new email campaign. I'm not going to go into actually creating the email, but I want to show you what it looks like when we schedule it. In this to field, we have a couple options. So you can either email to a group, which isn't new. You can scroll down and email to specific tags. So email to the CEOs or artificial intelligence, any tags you want. Or we can email to a group and then segment those groups. So I can come here and say exclude contacts. And let's say I want to exclude email all the CEOs that are interested in my, security offerings. Mm-hmm. So I can say exclude the tags that do not equal CEO, because this is excluding the contacts, and also exclude contacts that don't have the tag of, what did I say, security? Security. So then I come in here, I hit search. So this list that populates below here, these are all the leads that don't have both the CEO or the security tags. So then I come down, hit exclude list, and now when I send this email, it will go to these two groups, but only to those that are designated as a CEO and that are also designated as a security tag.
As being interested in security.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. So I just wanted to show that really quick before we get started, because I think that's really going to help your marketing efforts and being able to target and segment your groups. So I wanted to show that before we get started, since that is brand new. But now we'll get into the regularly scheduled Q&A portion of this program. And just want to call out, we did have some questions emailed into us, so that's what we're going to start with. If you come up with questions as we're presenting, please put those in the Q&A box on the bottom left corner of the screen, and then we'll definitely get to those at the end of the presentation.
Okay, so starting off with our first question that was sent in to us in advance. The difference between these lead groups and these ConnectWise managed groups can sometimes be a little bit confusing, and we typically talk about them at the exact same time because it's just your marketing efforts and who you're reaching out to. Well, the main difference here, and I have the two screenshots because I want to show what the groups look like in Manage and then how the groups look like in Campaign. Really, your managed groups are the ones that you've been using to communicate with your prospects, your current clients, and even internal members. Well, what Campaign has done that's so beneficial is there's this whole separate pool where you can place all of these contacts that you don't necessarily know you want in your managed data. So you can keep those company and contacts lists in Manage a little bit cleaner and import all of that data into Campaign and then kind of sift through it to find out what's really valuable and then only at that point bring it into Manage. Now, another benefit of Campaign is that not only can you store all of these maybe unsure leads in there until you're ready, but you can also access the groups that you've already built out and managed from within Campaign directly. So there are a couple benefits there, but at the end of the day, it's really just your Campaign leads can be completely separate from managed contacts, and you can use lead scoring, which Travis reviewed in our original webinar, to automate that process of validating them, making sure they're a nice hot lead, I guess, and then moving them into Manage automatically to create a contact in the associated company.
Yep.
Very cool.
All right, so another question we got is, what is your advice to manage groups and improve sender reputation? So first, my big recommendation is to turn the email verification tool on. What this tool does is once a week it goes through and it scans all the emails in your system, all the new emails in your system, I should say, and does a check. Is this a valid email? Is it an email that's going to bounce when you send to it? And then it updates the status in Campaign. So for sending out to emails that don't exist, or it's a bounced email, when you send out your email, it won't go to those contacts, it won't go to those contacts because it already knows that it's not going to actually go through. We use a third-party tool for this called Bulk Email Checker, and it is an opt-in or opt-out service, so if you don't feel comfortable using that third-party tool, that is something you can turn on or off. And then we do have logs for that. So if after the scan runs, you want to go in and see what the logs look like, that's on that contact screen. It's one of the options there to see the verification logs.
And this was a question that came in just a couple minutes ago, so we already had this addressed, but if you have any more questions on this, please let us know. For the most part, we do have the option of checking right within the application, but we also have extensive documentation on the university.
Yes.
So some of your more specific questions might be answered there as well.
Definitely. Another way to improve your sender reputation, and this is big, and it goes with all the new laws and regulations in place around marketing and canned spam and GDPR, is you're only allowed to email people who have agreed to receive emails from you. So that means you can't purchase a list of contacts that never heard of you before and just blast out emails to them. That breaks all types of regulations in place. So you want to make sure that you've got these email addresses in a way that they know that you're going to email them. They're expecting to receive an email from you. Because if you just think of going through your own inbox, if you have emails there from some company you've never heard of, one, I'm not going to open it. And two, I'm probably going to mark it as spam if I do anything with it. And that's going to hurt your sender reputation because there's such high standards for what your complaint rate should be, and that's an industry standard that we follow, that even one complaint can really hurt your sender reputation. Also remove unengaged contacts from your groups and start re-engagement campaigns. So what this means is if you do have a contact in your system and their open rate is 5%, maybe they open one email you ever sent them, are they still interested in hearing from you? Removing them from your list and maybe placing them into a re-engagement group is going to, one, allow that group, your core group, it's going to improve all the analytics on that group because now you're taking out someone that never opens your emails or clicks a link. So all those stats are going to start going up because now in that group you're only having people that are actually opening and engaging with you. And in that re-engagement group, what you want to do is say, hey, do you still want to hear from us? And by sending those emails out, they can click into it. And if they do want to hear from you, you could have them resubscribe to your emails. And then we also have a ton more marketing guidelines on the university. So if you go to connectwise.com/university and just search for marketing guidelines, there's probably 2 or 3 pages on there on one is how to improve your sender reputation, and one is just marketing guidelines in general that will help get your emails to the inbox instead of to spam folders.
And I can imagine with the fun new feature that you presented earlier, that's also helping with the sender reputation because we can be even more descriptive when entering these contacts in, so we know we're sending them emails that match their interests and the fewest emails as possible to get our point across.
Yep. So if they signed up and they said, I'm interested in hearing about digital security, but because you didn't tag them properly, they're getting emails about collaboration tools, then you're really not doing good for yourself. So that's one way to use it as well. Next question, do we have to personalize emails? You do. So this was a requirement that came out around when sender reputation came out, probably about a year ago. And the reason is, again, we want to make sure that the people, the leads, the contacts that you're emailing have agreed to receive your emails. So we don't want you just to get this random list of emails and start emailing them. We want them to be personalized to them, that they know that you're getting their email. And a lot of times we see emails start with, hi, first name, or first name, you should be interested in this. You could be a little bit more creative than that. It doesn't have to be right up front and center. So in this example, you could see in the screenshot, in the bottom footnote, I just have a note, this email is intended for first name, last name, thank you for your interest. So very small at the bottom, it's still visible. That's the important thing, that you can still see it, and it's in your email. But you can be a little bit creative with it as long, again, as you can see it.
Yeah. Okay, so how can we use Campaign to boost referrals? I know as you were telling me a little bit earlier, referrals are really our partner's bread and butter for getting new clients in the door. So there are tons of ways to boost referrals, and mainly this can be done through incorporating forms wherever you can. Now, as Travis explained in our webinar, forms are just an excellent tool that you can be using to gather information from clients that you want, or gather information from leads likely that you want to become clients. Or in this case, we're getting our own clients to, I guess, reference other companies that could be interested. Very cool. So some things that we would recommend doing would be taking our landing page with our form on it, grabbing that link and putting it really on any of our social media posts, within our tickets for status notifications. We have those automated emails that send out. We can include the link right in there. We could put them we could put the actual form, not just the link, directly on our website, and then we can have this link to the landing page and really all of our emails going out to our clients already. And maybe just instead of having that actual form listed everywhere or having additional details, send it as like a reminder and there's a link in there. So if they have any more information, it's always available for them to provide a referral, especially if you give them some sort of bonus for doing that.
Yeah, I love the idea of status notifications, like having at the bottom saying, hey, love our service.
Absolutely.
How about refer us? And then maybe, I know a lot of companies do gift cards or other type of offers if you get a referral. So put that at the bottom of your emails every time a ticket goes out. I mean, you could get some traction there. Awesome. And then it's not even just for referrals, referring to the form builder itself. You could use a form builder for anything you've liked. I know I've heard a lot of questions about with GDPR in Europe. There's this new opt-in requirement. Well, with the new form builder, there's an option to put a subscribe field on there, so you can have contacts subscribe to your emails, and that is your opt-in process. It's saying, fill out this form to receive our newsletter and hit the subscribe checkbox at the bottom.
Very cool.
So those were all the questions we received beforehand. So Renee, did we get any questions in the Q&A box?
Okay, I'm just going to check and see if we have anything new. Oh, we were asked, can we customize how the form looks on our landing page?
You certainly can. So let me show you. I'm going to switch back over to Campaign. And going over to the Campaign Builder, that's going to open up my option to see my landing pages. And I'm going to click into this Office 365 landing page we created on the webinar previously. If I switch into edit mode, this form is editable. I don't know if that's a word, but it is. So I can I can highlight company. And I can say this is a bolded field, and I want to change the size to 14, and I want it to be dark blue. Oops. Dark blue. Maybe it likes orange better. It doesn't. I'll look into that. But yeah, you can. I just tested this, so it does work. You can come in here and change these, and you could put headers. There it goes. I don't know what's wrong with the company field. I'll look into that. But you can change the color of these. You can put headers. So I've heard people say, hey, I want to just put a header in a form. You can come in here and write in a header and just type it in, header here. Okay, cool. As long as you're in your landing page. Now, you can't do the same from your website. So if you take a form and embed it on your website, that's an iframe code. You can't go in there and add any CSS or any customization like you can in here. But there is some customization you can do on your landing page.
Can you change the color of the submit button as well, or more the text?
I believe you could change the text. Let me just make sure I'm not lying.
I'm sorry, the color of the submit button. That was another question we had come in.
You can't change the color of the submit button.
Okay.
Excellent enhancement request. ConnectWise.com/enhancements. I love getting your enhancement requests and seeing what our partners are looking for. So go ahead and throw those on there, and then the more votes you get, the more likely we'll have to prioritize it.
Absolutely. We had another question asking about limiting recipients by the tag. So this is what Travis was demoing for us earlier. We can not only take those tags and use them to target specific contacts, but like he did in his example, he grabbed an entire group and said everyone from this group except for people with this tag, except for people with this other tag. So you can get really specific. It's not just for picking out people with that tag and sending to them. You can limit people based on their tags as well.
Yep, so you want to pick the groups out that you want to send to and use that exclude list option or exclude contacts option, and then exclude the tags that you don't want to receive the email in that list.
And I think this is actually a really cool idea because Stephanie was going to ask this question. And she said, is there any way that you could tag someone as being already registered for an event and then send out emails trying to get people to register?
Yeah.
So that would be an excellent way to, like you were showing, mass select a bunch of contacts, add the tag for them already registered for X event, and then use that to take everyone registered out of the equation when you're sending out more blasts to get someone to sign up.
And a great follow-up to that is also with the form builder. If we open it up, and let's say this was a link to come to our Lunch and Learn of ours, in this configure tab, we can create a tag called registered, and then come down here and click it. And now when anyone fills out this form, they're registering for your Lunch and Learn, they'll get that registered tag as well. So you can send out a reminder email saying, hey, don't forget you signed up for this, or a thank you email after the Lunch and Learn event, or webinars, or whatever kind of event you have.
Awesome. And now when these forms are listed on websites, a question came in about, you mentioned it being an iframe and some of the edit options not being available, but what are the options for the items that it can create within Manage? I know we have activities and opportunities. They can also create service tickets, am I right?
Yep, so great lead way, because I'm already on that page. So we have the option to, well, first is add them to groups. So that's not creating anything, but you can still add that contact to a group or a tag. And then as far as creation goes, you can create an opportunity for them and manage, an activity for them and manage, or even a service ticket. So you can choose any combination. You're not tied down to just one. And one of my favorite tips, I think I mentioned this in the webinar also, but it's a great tip. If you create something like a ticket or an opportunity, you could then in Manage run workflow rules off of that. So have a special ticket status called created from campaign as a status in here. Then you can have a workflow rule run and say when something's created from campaign, email such and such. So maybe you want to know every time a form was submitted, well, use a workflow rule in Manage to email yourself anytime a ticket comes in that specific status.
Very cool. And the question was really, would it be a good idea to embed a form to allow for service ticket entry? And I guess that really depends on the type of information you need on your service tickets and the type of traffic you're comfortable with having to your page.
Yeah.
Typically these are more salesy, but they don't necessarily have to be.
Yeah, we've actually seen partners in the past create forms and use them as almost, I don't want to say a portal because you're not be able to see their tickets, but being able to submit tickets through a form. So they have the form on their website and they can have someone go and submit a service ticket, just a normal help desk ticket through that form. And what's great is with the new addition of having custom fields in your forms, you can really capture any information that you're going to need on a service ticket. And one other thing I want to mention is we also added the ability to capture your an address in the form builder as well. So if you're capturing leads using the form builder and you want their physical mailing address or wherever location they're at, you can now capture those in the form. That was released yesterday with the contact tagging as well.
Very cool. And there was actually a question about custom fields that came in.
Okay.
And basically someone is out here testing them out under the contact overview. So adding them within Manage the contact overview custom field setup table, and then trying to grab them from the form, but they're running into some issues. Can you think of any steps that we might be missing that could help them out, or would it be more of a submit a ticket if you're seeing a specific issue?
It really depends on what the issue is. My one piece of advice would be don't use both at the same time, meaning don't have one tab with contact overview, custom fields open, and then campaign open here with form builder, because when you're adding those fields in Manage, you'd have to reload the campaign page. So basically just add all the fields you want inside of Manage, then reopen up campaign, and then they should all show on the form builder here. And then one other piece of advice is it's documented on the university, so I won't get into too much specifics, but it depends on the field type you use. So if you create a custom field that's a drop-down in Manage, well, you have to drag over a drop-down field here, and that's the only thing that will map to a drop-down field. Same with the checkbox, radio button. They're all mapping to the same fields. This way, when a form's submitted, we can ensure that data is valid. So we're not saying, this is a text box field that I'm mapping to a drop-down, and your customer typed something in that's not in that drop-down field, well, you lose all that data.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure, and that's why we kind of force it, that you're using the same field types on these screens.
Very cool. So step one being set up all your custom fields, leave that setup table behind, and then open campaign fresh to make sure you have all the updated data. And then as you're going through, just be sure that if you create it as a drop-down, you're trying to find it through a drop-down field. Okay, very cool. Well, that seems to be all of our questions so far. I haven't seen any come in for the last couple of minutes.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you.